Thank you for joining me at 5 Minute Mechanic. I have a 2005 Toyota Camry that the battery died on, and when I tried to put a different battery in, it was not idling and it was not staying running. It would run as long as I kept my foot on the throttle, but it would not if I didn't. Then I found out about this apparent idle circuit reset that happens sometimes when you change the batteries on supposedly around 2000 and later Toyota products, Lexus products. Never had it happen before, never heard of it before, but that's what's happening. So we've just done the alternator as we showed, just reconnected. It's still a different battery. And now we are going to try and see what happens when I try and start the car. So the battery that's in it was running fresh before in a different vehicle, and I swapped to a different battery after it wouldn't take a jump and run. Sorry about that. But so it still shows the battery light, which means it's not charging, I believe. But it is now idling, which it was not doing. So I wonder why it's showing no battery, or the alternator. I think we might have to let it warm up. Interesting. And I have tools sitting on the passenger seat as well, and I'm just sitting here, so. All right, well, we'll see what happens here. So as I was sitting here letting this run, it was idling great, and I kept wondering why the battery light was on. Then I remembered I didn't hook the serpentine belt back up. So now we're going to start it again and see what happens now. Because I wouldn't expect the alternator to be charging the battery if the alternator wasn't running anything. So we've dipped. See that tachometer? It's still idling though. It's idling lower than it should be, but it is idling. When it first happened, we jumped it and it idled around 100, maybe 200 RPMs, I guess, and then it just shut off. So we charged it again for a little while and kept our foot on it. So that means there's some other draw. You can hear the clicking from the engine. It doesn't like how low it is. Ooh, it's bumping back up. When you're going through that whole circuit test thing, they talk about you're supposed to let the car get up to temperature. I'm wondering if maybe it would just reset itself. Again, never had this happen before. In most of those videos, it talks about turning the key to a certain position and then putting it in park, then keeping the car running and holding the RPMs at an acceptable range, and that would reset it. I just want to see what happens if we just let it go. So it did bump up a little bit, where before it would bump down, so that's a good sign. Still idling very low, so it is ticking. Let's go out there and see. See, it's idling very low. Noises it normally makes. The wind picked up really bad, but this did not sound like this before. It sounds totally fine when it's idling. And now I'm not sure why, after we've reattached the serpentine belt, that it would start to make this sound, other than the alternator must have something, or somewhere in that system is actually doing the loop for the idle. So after I put the serpentine belt back on, we saw that it was still idling low. I took it for a drive where after a few minutes the battery died again. As I was turning, I noticed a weird clicking in the brakes. I brought it back and it's dark now, but I went through that process again on how to reset the idle, and what I heard was you take the key and you, I don't know if you can see any of it, you turn the key on, off, on, off, on, pull your park brake, start the car, and then put the car in gear and let it sit for a few minutes. And as you do that, the idle will start to reset, and it actually worked. So I'm not going to keep doing it right now because I've already done that, but now the idle is reset and the car's driving fine, and we will take a look at the brakes and see what's going on there. Thanks for joining me at 5 Minute Mechanic. Remember, 5 minutes a day, you get those projects taken care of.